Morning, Bones.
Good morning, Padre. What do you think about New York's new mayor-elect?
Oh my God. We've talked about this communist, Zohran Mondani. Twice we've put out videos on what a joke he is. New York City turns around and elects him as their mayor. Uh,
Yeah, it's like me. It's like New York just pissed on every grave of every victim of the Twin Tower incident. You know,
well,
9/11.
exactly. Never forget. And yet here we are, New York City, the city where it occurred, that suffered all the devastation, elects a Muslim communist mayor. Uh,
Yeah, imagine that.
Not without repercussion, I might add. They're already feeling the effects of their decision. Uh, the district fire marshal, within an hour of the announcement that Mondani had won, put in his resignation. Over one-fourth of the police department has put in for their resignations and retirement as soon as Madami is sworn in. You've got major businesses pulling out of the area. You have citizens fleeing New York in the millions. The housing markets in Texas and Florida are flooded right now with people fleeing New York City. To the extent that Texas and Florida are both passing legislation to charge 100% tariffs to any New Yorker moving into their states. They are looking at taking measures to prevent these people who elected a communist mayor and supported these politics from moving into their area and trying to change their way of life.
Yeah, that's a positive move on Texas' part, and something like that, I believe, should have been done here in Utah, with the Californians coming in for a similar reason. You know,
Mm-hmm.
their governor was elected, and then ever since then, people have been fleeing California. Utah's not the only one affected by that.
Right.
Where New York, New York's deal with Florida and Texas is not the only ones that are going to be affected by this.
Right.
But if you don't take the measures now, take it in advance, and you'll wind up overwhelmed with people that you can't really take care of. You know,
Exactly. Um,
like I look at it here every day. Our sewer systems are overtaxed. We're having brownouts in the city on a regular basis. Uh,
Water
just too much.
shortages.
Yeah, too much all at once.
Yeah. So
So
kudos to Texas and Florida for trying to get ahead of the game and prevent this same thing from happening in their states.
yes,
And New York City, shame on you, man.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Maybe they ought to become part of the Arab nations.
well, there, excuse me. I saw a video of people in the streets talking about instituting Sharia law. Uh, he's not even sworn in yet, and he's calling for a $9 million tax hike. He's asking for handouts already. What did they think was going to happen?
I was really reading a list of things that he's going to take away from the cities, like the city, like you wouldn't be able to purchase any beer or alcohol at the store,
No
or you wouldn't be able to
tobacco.
go tobacco. Just on and on and on. I don't know if New York has realized what the hell they did,
Well,
but I guess they will. You
I
know.
think they're beginning to realize what they've done. He hasn't been sworn in yet, and already the things that he's talking about, uh, are so extreme and away from the platform he was running on that people have got to understand at some point what's going on. Now, I do see where Republicans, and it'll probably be supported by more New Yorkers at this point, are looking into and trying to force an investigation through ICE, stating that Zohran Mamdani lied on his application for citizenship, saying he had no ties to Muslim extremist groups or terrorists, and they've got evidence that he is tied to those groups, and they are looking to revoke his citizenship and deport him prior to being sworn in. Now, whether they get this pushed through, I've heard talk about this for months now, as soon as he started running. So whether they actually get off their butt and do the investigation and move forward with it, I don't know. I would hope they do something like that. New York City is going to fall in a bad way. The New York Stock Exchange used to be the biggest thing in the United States. And right now, they have moved the majority of their offices into Florida and Texas, and the Texas Stock Exchange is now the largest. Major retailers are pulling up stakes and moving into surrounding states. One major grocery store chain owner stated he is gone. He's boarding up his stores and he's taking his franchise elsewhere. Even as far as I saw Sylvester Stallone, who lives in New York City and has been a proud citizen of New York his entire life, said he is leaving because this is not the New York he grew up in.
Yeah, you can't blame him. I mean, I watch what happened here, and I know that this is not the a city or state that I grew up in anymore. I mean, you can still get out and find the rural side of things, but internal city stuff, not the same.
Right.
You know, so I can understand New York's position. There are good people in New York, just like there are good people in California and in every state in the U.S.
Right. Well, I know I kind of looked up to see when, I heard millions of people fleeing. The population of New York City is just over 9 million people. So if you have, a million or more people leaving, that's pretty significant. That's more than it's a good percentage of your population that just initially is fleeing. How many more will flee as these things start being instituted and they start reaping the benefit of their decision?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of people. The ones that voted for him, I believe, should be anchored to New York and not able to go anyplace else.
Oh, I agree. I think if your vote was for Zohran Mamdani, I don't think you should be allowed to leave. And I think that should be something that should be public knowledge. And if you're moving into another state, let us see your ballot. You voted for Zohran, see you later.
Yeah.
I also think, that they're talking about measures. To me, one of the things that I really think should be happening, if you move from one state to another, you should be a citizen of that state for 5 years before you're allowed to vote in any elections.
I don't disagree with that.
And you should live in that area for over 10 years before you're allowed to run for any office. And that's if you're a U.S. citizen. If you're not a natural born citizen, I don't think you should be holding any political office in the United States.
Right. Yep.
So
I agree totally.
Man, this is going to be one to keep an eye on, Bones. New York City and Zohran Mamdani. Now, the Democrats viewed this race and a few others as huge successes. The the reality is the GOP didn't lose anything because these were all blue states anyway. They didn't gain any ground. They just maintained what they already had. And the GOP didn't lose any ground. They just didn't gain any in those areas. So
But it's one step closer to communism. So
mm-hmm.
that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see what happens here.
Well, again, shame on you, New York City. Zohran Mamdani, as we've said time and time again, the guy's a joke. He's a full-blown
Zoran
communist. He's a full-blown terrorist supporter, communist. I have zero respect for the guy, and you're going to suffer the consequences for your decision. And I can't believe that anybody didn't see this coming, and I don't know how this was allowed to happen. I don't, you hear rigged election. I don't know. All I can tell you is you're going to suffer the consequences of your decision, and hopefully something can be done to make it right before your entire city is in rubble.
Yep, that's the direction that it's headed if Zoran Salami is in charge.
Exactly. So from Padre Havoc and Bones, we'll keep you updated as this story unfolds. I'm sure it's going to get even uglier.
Oh, Texas and Florida, stay positive over there. I'm not so sure about New York.